Well, good day there. Oh, hello, Kippy. Hi, buddy. He's such a gentle giant, that dog. Welcome back to the channel. And what we're going to do here, we're going to start a new segment or a new series of videos here to help those of you that have purchased a machine. Doesn't matter what brand. It doesn't have to be Ripa. Honestly, it doesn't matter. How to use your machine properly and safely. It is another question that I get frequently is, I bought this machine, I know how to move it around, but I don't know how to use it. So we're going to start with the basics, where we all started when we started running iron, and we're going to go all the way up to finish grade and production style digging. And that one, if somebody will let me do it, or if I can find somebody that would like that done, that example is best shown with the excavation of a pond. And it has many moving parts, and that would take, it's going to take quite a bit to coordinate, but we'll find somebody that wants it done, and we'll do it. Clearly you can see that I have the R10 behind me. We won't be doing this with the R10, but bear in mind things that we discuss here and topics that I show here, they translate down to the R10, and they work all the way up to just about every size of excavator. So keep that in mind. Again, it's not just specific to certain machines. We'll be using my R15 to demonstrate just about everything, because it's my personal machine and I like putting hours on it, plus I like running it. So what we're going to start with first is, what kind of machine do you have? There's some big differences here in terms of how the machines react as you go up the scale. From the R10 to the R13 to the R15 to the R18, R22, you get the idea. Okay, so your entry-level machine, as Ripa likes to call it, is the R10, and it is a single pump machine. Generally speaking, they don't like to do more than 2 functions at one time. People have said they're jerky. Yes, to a point, you can get smooth operation out of them as you learn the machine. So if you have an R10 and you find that it's jerky or you're fighting it, keep in mind it's a single pump machine. It only likes to do a certain amount of things at once. So that's something to keep in mind specifically just for the R10. But as you get up into the 13, 15, 18, again, you get it. You get more pumps. And then as you get bigger, you get the load sensing pumps, which makes things even smoother and even easier for digging and actually using the machine. So one of the other things that I'm going to quickly point out that you're going to see, and you may not have noticed, and we'll walk around the 10 and the 15, and I'll show you the difference, is when you're sitting in the seat. So you're up here in your operator's perch. With the R10, your line of sight is directly in line with the boom. You're staring right here. If you're super short, you're staring here. If you're super tall, you're staring here. But the boom blocks your view of what your bucket's doing. So when you're trenching or you're trying to dig, keep that in mind, that you're probably going to be craning your neck to one side or the other to get the full view of what the bucket is doing. Way to help yourself with that is, again, the application or use case specific. Use the wider bucket. The clean out bucket is about twice or 2.5 times as wide as the standard bucket. So if you can get away with it, use that. It'll allow you to see the edges, and you'll find you don't have to crane your neck as bad. The other thing, basic point that we're going to start with as well, and it does pertain more to the lighter machines than the heavier machines, but it's still something to keep in mind, Oh, Frey found the cleanout bucket. Is your blade. Everybody has a tendency to sink the blade in. We don't want to sink the blade in. We want to keep the blade flat so it's the furthest point forward. When you're digging, think of the machine like a lever, right? So as you pull on one side, the other side's going to come up, right? So if you extend that pivot point out, it's harder for the tail to come up. If you dig all the way out at its maximum reach, you've moved that, you've offset it. It's science and physics, right? You'll see that a lot, especially the R10s. I noticed without having like a cab and a diesel and the counterweight and all that, the R10s, they really show that. They really let you know that you're overextending. For most digging applications, and we'll show this and we'll use the R15. You kind of want to be just about in this area when you're digging. Actually, bring your stick in a little more. Actually, so that you're pulling down, you're pulling against the blade, not away from the machine. If that doesn't really make sense to say, but when you're out there and practice doing it, you'll get it. These also don't have a bunch of breakout force, so you really got to learn how to use them that way. That will come with time and experience. Just give yourself the time to do that. Do not rush any of this process, okay? That's how you get hurt. Number one way to get hurt is rushing. So stay away from that. And also, don't drink and do this. Like, drink your water, drink your Red Bull, drink that, but like, stay off the adult drinks while you're doing this. I know what the lore is, but just stay off the adult drinks. That being said, yes, we fixed Ripa's problem on this particular machine, and we have a cup holder for staying hydrated with Red Bull and sarcasm. Anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to pop over to the 15 here, and I'll show you the difference between this machine and that machine on where the boom and stick assembly sits and where you sit in relation to that. And then that will lead into some terminology that we'll be using later on. Alright, let's go check her out. Alright, sitting on the R10 here, I will demonstrate what I'm talking about. So this is, as you can see, dead center. And you have to go side to side to see the bucket. Now you could, hi Frey, you could pivot this and turn the house, but that's, that changes the geometry and things on the machine. But we'll get into that later. Oh, are you coming up? Yeah, okay. Frey says I need to throw a ball. Okay. So, at the R15 here, you can see how there's more room here than there is here. This is what I mean by the offset booms. They're actually not centered. So it's deceiving as you get up to this. I believe the 13 is centered like the R10 if I remember correctly, but the R15 is where they start being offset, and that is a factory, that's an industry standard thing. That's the way they go, and that's that. So what we'll do is we'll pop up into the cab there, and we'll show you what that looks like looking out. And then you can see what I mean by seeing the whole bucket. And yes, there is a story to the cab. That's a different video, different time, different series. Okay, let's get in there. Alright, so we're up in the cab here, and this is sitting in the seat, and as you can tell, it's off to my right-hand side, right? So there's the right-hand side, and this is dead on. You can see the two teeth. Now your third tooth is actually right here in your line of sight, but in reality, it's actually outside of the boom and stick. It's a bit of a visual deception, but you just have to trust what your bucket's doing. And that what your bucket is doing is dictated by what your tracks are sitting on, which we'll get into when we set up for digging. But as you can see, lean over quite a bit. So there is just some trust here that your bucket's flat and you know what you're doing and you know what you're grabbing. So there's what it looks like from inside the cab, with two very, very impatient shepherds staring at me because one would like her ball thrown and the other one wants the ball thrown. Okay, let's call that good. I think you get the idea. Alright, so with the offset boom figured out and Freya telling me that it is time to again throw the squeaky ball, so excuse me. Well, yeah, go on. Or not. So now we're going to get into some terminology. Right? So what we're going to cover here is some terms that I use frequently and that are used in the industry frequently. If you have a GSD, you understand squeaky balls are life. Anyways, getting back to it. So some simple terminology. We'll start at the very front of the machine and we'll work back. All right. So, bucket or attachment, coupler or quick hitch. Generally speaking, this is called the stick. Some call it a dipper. This is your thumb, hydraulic or manual. This is a multi-way valve, and this is a flat face quick connect for attachments. As we come up here, well actually, before we come up, these are cylinder guards. Some people call them shields. I've seen a couple other names that I can't remember because that's how obscure they were. As we come on up, this is your boom. This is your stick cylinder. This is your boom cylinder. This is your come on now, don't blank out, it's English. For your pivoting boom, it's your joint, your main joint for that. Don't know why that took me so long to remember, good lord. Then below that, we have the blade. Some call it a dozer blade, some call it just a blade, some call it an anchor. There's that. And then the blade is attached to your undercarriage. This whole thing is called the house. So if we say spin the house, that's what we're talking about, spin the whole top of the machine. Not the undercarriage, but the top. Then obviously you have a cab on this one, on the R10 that you just saw. That would be a canopy model. You can even run it without anything on it. It feels a little weird and you get sunburned real quick. Don't ask me how I know. Now of course you have your work lights. That's kind of, everybody knows what those are. Wiper. Some more terms that are used frequently between operators and in industry. Blind side and cab side. So with this machine having a full cab, you'd think it would be kind of hard to differentiate between the two, but blind side is always the right side of the machine, and cab side is always the side the cab is on. There was, if you go way back in, like, I believe it's 50s through the 70s, the cab was actually on the right side, so it would be opposite, but we're not going to go there, but that's just your fun history fact for the day. So cab side, left side, blind side, right side. As you get around to the back of the machine, that's called the tail or the counterweight. As you get to the bigger machines, even this one's got a counterweight. And then your travel pedals or your travel sticks are in there, and then your 2 control joysticks, which there are so many videos showing how to move the machines. We're not even going to get into that. If you're watching this, you are past that and looking to actually put the machine to work. Okay, so that's all that. That's where we're going to start with this. The next thing we're going to go over is loading a dump trailer. That'll be the next segment that we're going to do. And again, we'll use this, and that's where the terminology between cab side and blind side really comes into play there, as well as we'll introduce you to benching, and we'll introduce you to some pile management techniques there as well. Things that you can use to make your life easier. But we're going to wrap this one up here, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care and stay safe. Okay, Frey, go get it.